Chapter 10. Mr. Friedrich didn't even look at Mike. He ran after the horsemen who were driving the cattle into the pasture with the help of the dogs. He carefully closed and fastened the gate and turned to face the men. "Corey Blair," he stammered. His face was deep red with anger. "Oh, Hans, don't be angry. Corey was helping." Mrs. Friedrich's hands flared to her face as she called from the stoop where she and Marta stood. Mike saw her shrink back as Mr. Friedrich frowned, then turned away. "Your cattle were out in the road," Corey said. "Me and my brother brought 'em back for you." "For this I thank you," Mr. Friedrich marred. He began to stride toward Mike and Gunter, but Corey swung from his horse and stood in his way. "Mr. Friedrich," Corey said, "we're neighbors. There's no call for us not to act neighborly, now is there?" Mr. Friedrich folded his arms across his chest and glared at Corey. "I've already thanked you. Is there more you want?" "Yes," Corey said. He glanced in Marta's direction and smiled easily as though Mr. Friedrich's bad temper didn't bother him at all. "I'd like to ask your permission for me to come calling on Marta. Will you give it?" "No, I will not. Marta's not ready for marriage." Corey shook his head. "She's over the age that most of the women around here marry at. Healthy, strong, good-looking woman like Marta should have been married long ago." "She was." "Huh?" Corey took a step backward. "She should have told you. She was widowed when she was 17. She's been under our protection ever since." Mr. Friedrich stepped so close to Corey that Corey had to back away to keep from being budded by Mr. Friedrich's round stomach. "If Marta marries again, it'll be to a hard-working, sensible German, not to a young fool who'd rather fight than work." Corey's face flushed almost as dark as Mr. Friedrich's. "I'm a hard worker. You can take a look at our place. We all work hard." Mr. Friedrich waved Corey aside and walked quickly to where Mike, Gunter, and Reuben were standing. "Time's valuable, and you're stealing mine. I've thanked you. Now be gone with you." "I ain't stealing anything that's yours," Corey exploded. "I've done you a favor, and small reward I got for it." Mr. Friedrich ignored Corey and kept walking toward the north field. Corey tugged his hat down firmly and swung up on his horse's back. Without another word, he and his brother galloped toward the Blair's farm. Reuben, with a worried glance at Mike, strode after Mr. Friedrich, while Gunter smirked and ran to catch up with his father. Mike, his legs shaking so much it was hard to walk, hurried after them. As soon as the Blairs had disappeared down the road, Gunter called, "Papa, it's all Mike's fault. He let the cattle out on purpose." Terrified, Mike cried, "I didn't. I wouldn't do that. I know those are prize cattle." Mr. Friedrich stopped and turned and glared at Mike. "We have things that have to be done," he said. "We'll not talk this matter until tonight." "You're going to beat him, Papa, aren't you?" Gunter gasped. Mike gasped, but Gunter continued, "And send him back to New York, where he belongs." "Get back to work, both of you," Mr. Friedrich ordered. He reached over to the mule's lead, and Mike ran, stumbling over the broken earth, to the spot where he'd been removing stones when the bell had rung. He worked without stopping until Marta rang the bell to call him to dinner. When Mr. Friedrich bowed his head for the blessing and loudly prayed for guidance in his treatment of Michael, Mike slumped in his chair. His hands and feet were numb, and chills shook his backbone as Mr. Friedrich wondered aloud about the wisdom of keeping a boy who continued his evil ways without a shred of repentance. Over and over, Mike thought, "He can't send me back. He can't. Not to Tombs Prison. He can't." The food that could have been boiled hay for all Mike knew. He was so frightened he could barely taste or swallow. After dinner, the four returned to the north field and worked until the sun had disappeared behind the western hills. It was dark by the time the cows were brought back to the barns. They fed and cared for the animals by lantern light. Mike ached with exhaustion as he stumbled toward the basin of water in the back stoop and shed his glove and coats. As Mike reached for the lump of lye soap, Mr. Friedrich's hand clamped on his shoulder and pulled him back. "We have something to talk about," he said. "I've made my decision." Reuben and Gunter turned their eyes to Mr. Friedrich. Mike could see that Reuben was wary, but Gunter's expression was gleeful. Mr. Friedrich waved an impatient hand at them and said, "Watch quickly and go inside. This has nothing to do with either of you." Gunter began to splash noisily, but Reuben said, "Mike is just a boy." "Who's in my care, not yours," Mr. Friedrich interrupted. "You heard me. Go inside." Mike took a deep breath and tried to stand as tall as he could, even though Mr. Friedrich's hand was like a heavy weight pushing him down. "Mr. Friedrich, I did not open the gate and let your cattle out." "Don't lie. It only makes your offense worse." "I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. Gunter saw you at the pasture when you should not have been." "That's right," Gunter said. "I wasn't at the pasture. I was filling the wood bin for Marta. Gunter told me she asked for more wood." "We'll see about that," Mr. Friedrich said. He bellowed, "Marta!" so loudly Mike winced. The door flew open and Marta, still wrapped a shawl around her shoulders, poked her head outside. "What's the matter? What do you want?" she asked. "Answer to a question," Mr. Friedrich said. "This morning, did you tell Gunter that more wood was needed in the bin?" She looked puzzled. "No, there was plenty of wood in the bin. Mike filled it yesterday evening." "But Gunter said," Mike began. "That's enough," Mr. Friedrich snapped. "All of you, go inside the house." He whirled and nearly dragged Mike off his feet and marched rapidly back to the barn. In the lantern light, his shadow swept ahead like a monstrous giant. Inside the barn, Mr. Friedrich put down the lantern and studied Mike. "I've decided not to send you back to New York, Michael. I've accepted the responsibility to teaching you to lead a good moral life, but you are making the task a difficult one. It's hard for me to understand why you cannot see the evil of your ways." "I'm not evil," Mike cried. He winced as Mr. Friedrich's fingertips dug into his shoulder, but anger gave him the courage he needed to continue. "Let me tell you what happened, why the cattle were let out in the pasture. Very well, I will listen. I pride myself on being a just man. Mike had a different opinion about that, but he was desperate for a chance to explain. Gunter wants you to send me back to New York. He made up the story about Marta wanting extra wood in the bin so I'd be away from my regular chores without an excuse. And he also lied about seeing me at the pasture because he's the one who unlatched the gate so the cattle could get out. Are you calling my son a liar? Mr. Friedrich's face darkened with fury and he puffed up like a fat rooster ready to fight. I'm only telling the truth, Mike said. A hand still clenched Mike's shoulder. Mr. Friedrich reached to a nail on a nearby wall and pulled down the short leather strap that was hanging on it. I made a mistake before, he said. I was too lenient. I will not make that mistake again. No, Mike struggled. You can't beat me. I didn't do anything wrong. But Mr. Friedrich raised the strap and brought it down with a crack on Mike's legs. No, Mike shouted again as he bent and twisted, trying to escape. The blow was so painful that tears blurred his eyes. Stop. Reuben's voice came from the doorway, startled both Mike and Mr. Friedrich, who straightened and turned. This is not your affair, Mr. Friedrich snapped. I'm not going to let you beat Mike, Reuben said. Mr. Friedrich's words came out a slow hiss. And I'm not going to let a hired hand, or whoever you are, interfere with the way I raise a boy in my care. You do not raise a boy by beating him. My father raised 5 sons. He could be proud of each of them. He never spared a beating when it was necessary. I should have remembered this before it was too late. How could a beating ever be necessary? It is simply a strong, large man causing pain to a boy too small to fight back. You're wrong. As my father said, a beating is one sure way of teaching a child to behave properly. Nay, boy of mine. Suddenly Mr. Friedrich stopped speaking. Reuben was insistent. You're only teaching this boy that someday he'll be large and strong enough to hurt someone else who's defenseless. You have no right to say such things. Mr. Friedrich's voice rose and the red rims of his eyes widened. You say you live as a laborer. You drift from job to job, never amounting to anything. I'm a hard-working, prosperous citizen who's earned his position. Reuben shook his head sadly. Those who have wealth must be watchful and wary. Power, alas, not but misery brings. What do you mean? Mr. Friedrich demanded. Are you threatening me? I was simply quoting Thomas Haynes Bailey. Who is Bailey? Is he the one who sent you here? What does he want from me? Sent me here? Reuben looked puzzled. Bailey's long dead, and when he was alive he was a poet, a man of great observations. Ack, poet! Mr. Friedrich spat his contempt. Reuben took a few steps forward, holding out a hand. If there is a lesson to be learned, Michael has already learned it. Come now, Mr. Friedrich, you're hungry. Your supper will be cold. For your information, I am always watchful, Mr. Friedrich muttered. His eyes narrowed, and he peered at Reuben with suspicion and dropped his hand from Mike's shoulder. Mike quickly stumbled off, trying to knead away the pain that throbbed from the spot he'd been gripped so tightly. Hang up the strap, you won't need it again, Reuben told him. Mr. Friedrich glanced at the strap, and then at Mike, as though he didn't remember Mike being there. He blinked a few times and growled, Michael, go to bed without your supper. There'll be no more misbehavior on your part. Without another word, he flung the strap to the ground and strode from the barn. Mike took Reuben's hand and looked up at him. Thank you, he whispered. I'm sorry he hurt you, Reuben said. I was telling the truth, Mike said. I hope you believe me. Reuben nodded. I do. He picked up the lantern, leading Mike toward the house. The night air was cold and smelled of rotting leaves and rain, so they quickened their steps. He thinks someone sent you after him, Mike said. He's afraid of you. Do you know why? No. Reuben shrugged. I'm just a quiet, hard-working man who's waiting to go back to the river I love. He knows that. He suspects you're someone else. Mike stopped and tugged at Reuben's arm. Fear trickled down his backbone like drops of icy water. I think I figured it out. Mr. Friedrich murdered someone named Ulrich in Germany, so he ran away to the United States, and all along he's been afraid someone would come after him. And now he thinks you're the one. He's killed someone before, Reuben. What if he decides to kill you too? Reuben put a hand on Mike's shoulder. You have no proof of any of this. It's all what you imagine to have happened. Haven't you heard the expression, give the man the benefit of the doubt? Why won't you listen? Reuben smiled. I've listened. I'll think on your advice, and in turn I'll give you some of my own. Those who live with Gunter should be watchful and wary too. Mike saw a twinkle in Reuben's eyes, but he answered seriously. That's what I'll be, never fear. Gunter will never again get the better of me. Later, Mike climbed into bed and burrowed his face in a feather pillow to shut out the tantalizing smells of the food the others were eating. As he thought about what Gunter had done to him, anger sizzled like a burning log inside his chest. Into the darkness he vowed, Gunter will get his due, and I'll find out what Mr. Friedrich is afraid of, no matter what.